We'll bring the meeting to order.
Yeah, paper thin.
Roll call.
Turn your mic on there.
Black.
Here.
Pokrzywinski.
Here.
Blair. Hecht. Messelt.
Here.
Grinde.
Here.
Riopelle.
Here.
Approval of minutes for the September 18th meeting.
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Bills and communication review of accounts payable October 2nd. All review.
Yes.
October 16th and November 6th. One thing I noticed in there, I mentioned to Paul, another $1,700 on that elevator. That's going to be constant. Why do we own that building?
What elevator?
No one wants it.
You want me to read it? What'd they do to it? Because I didn't know.
It's for sale.
Pardon?
It's for sale.
I got $1. You got 2? Do I hear 3? What did we have to do to it?
I don't know if, I don't know. Is that just on the, is that on the yearly contract that they would come in and do?
Oh, that was, look, rekeying it. Which doesn't make sense, because that should have been in the contract.
I can text Nancy and we can answer that.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Okay.
Because I don't recall it being out at all.
Yeah, because it says 4
Getting in your car right
tri-locks,
now.
4 keys for firebox and EPO. So, it's not numbered, it's on the first page though, I think.
Cleaning and painting, another $550. Yeah, 4 tri-locks, 4 keys for firebox and
Where are
EPO.
we at?
Paul, I could call if we can ask her.
Carol was texting Nancy.
Oh, you guys.
I don't have the information. I don't know it.
Nancy was just getting in her car, so she's probably not answering because she's in the vehicle. I would
Go
hope
on
not.
to reports.
When I find out, what we'll do is we'll share it with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then just dig into that contract too to make sure, does it mean locks are part of everything? Oh, you wanted a doorknob too?
Well, it's
We
like
just talked about
the person who bought the car and the engine was extra, right?
Yeah.
But Ron, they are working on a community agreement, right, on that?
I'm out of that loop.
Okay, but I think that they have responded now, that the other party, they have been talking to the other party,
Yeah.
my understanding.
I had drafted a document, and the city basically hired that, I think his name's Robert Vos from Kennedy and Graven to meet. I think Mayor Gander wanted to set up a meeting with the ownership group over there prior to moving forward with anything on that agreement. And the last thing I heard is that there was a meeting set up. I don't know if it took place.
Mayor Gander and I met with Dan Stouse to start the process, and Dan said he was willing to move forward on that as well. So there is a committee being set up to deal with that, and there's a committee being set up to deal with an issue that Dan brought up about some flooding. So those are 2 issues. They're separate issues, and they're being handled separately. but that's going forward.
Go on to reports, delinquency update,
I have none.
monthly financial reports.
Thanks to Carla for putting this together. She's been out of the office.
Yeah, sorry,
So,
I thought of it yesterday, like, I wonder when we're having a meeting. So, anyway, I printed them out today. I ran September and October together just to save on paper, because there's usually not a lot of activity going on. The only thing that is a little bit out of the usual is if you look under the MIF loan, there in the cash in banks, there's a credit for $3,000, and that's just because a payment from Valley Golf actually went into the wrong account, so we just made a correction. Otherwise, everything's normal, normal rentals, normal payments for loans, and if there's any other questions, I'm willing to answer, but it's just normal activity. Of course, if you have other questions, you can also call me. You know, I know you just got it in front of your face now, so.
But thank you. I mean, you did
You're welcome.
extra to get this done, and we appreciate it.
Go on to unfinished business.
I just brought you up to date that the Northwest Minnesota Foundation will be visiting us on December 7th to review the letter of intent that was submitted to them to obtain funding for their Communities Thrive grant. If there are any questions, just ask.
Go on to new business and the Gulsted Jensen McCann lease.
There are two small corrections that have to be made. In paragraph 1A, it references paragraph 1, it should reference paragraph 2. And on paragraph 3, it references paragraph 3, it should reference paragraph 2. Other than that, we recommend approval. And this is based upon the discussion that we had earlier this year about moving the rents up so they'll be at market rate.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved, subject to the changes.
Next Thursday's chamber meeting, right? Oh, yeah. Third Thursday.
And Hodgson Extension.
He called or contacted me and let me know that he'd be able to pay for the lot that he has reserved in December rather than November, but he said he'd pay $2,500 to extend it to the end of the year. I said, that sounds good to me, but I need you to ratify that. So I need a motion to approve the extension, but he has paid the money. I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. 220 corridor study.
Jairo had asked me some months ago to talk about the 220 corridor study. There is an MPO study that's going on regarding that road. I told him 5 minutes would be good, okay? Because,
Right?
I figured telling a planner 5 minutes means we'll probably get 10, right?
Yeah, but we have Ralph running the meeting, so
Yes.
we know he'll stick to that.
So Jairo is here tonight, or today, from the MPO, and he's going to let you know what's going on. And in case any of you want to participate, you need to let Jairo know, because one of the things on something like this is you really look to have public participation. And he's interested in finding some businesses. There are already a couple businesses along the corridor who have said they would participate, but we're interested in case anybody else wishes to participate as well.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Basically, what I've done is provide you with an outline of my brief presentation. You will see the name of the study, which is the Minnesota 220 North. and we have the area. Important is for us to, why are we doing this study? If you realize part of the development of the town is going on that particular direction on the north of 220 and also over 23rd Street Northwest. So overall, we are studying about 2 miles of road starting here on 9 as far as slightly over 23rd. You can see the area for the study in the map, which is in the background. Why are we doing this study? So again, there are some new challenges that will be affecting transportation-related issues on this particular corridor. So the impacts of the new development, particularly on the north side of the metro area, those are the ones that we would like to anticipate by starting this study at the moment. There are 3 objectives guiding the particular study. One is to identify and to address currently and projected transportation issues. The second one is to develop a document that will provide us some kind of guidelines in terms of allowing basically improvements in this particular facility. And the third one is to address a series of issues that have been brought to our attention. If you look, we have high volumes of heavy trucks, particularly during the harvest season. We have a very strange situation with the service roads on the sides. We have a public street, yet we have private access to a number of properties. There is a projected congestion around the intersection of 220 at US 2, and we have some issues with safety, particularly concerning crashes in terms of the seriousness, the number, and the type of crashes that are happening on the corridor. So we want to also kind of advance an analysis of the frontage roads access, and this is in relationship to some of the businesses that sometimes by their nature are kind of, there are obstacles on the service roads when patrons wants to come to their businesses. So we have hired a consultant, is the Alliant Engineering, is a company from Minnesota, from Minneapolis. And we also put together a steering committee, and so far you can see the names of the people that have volunteered their names to stand as members of the steering committee. From the school, which is one of the main attractors in terms of traffic activity, Mr. Bob Gooden will be here. We have so far 2 businesses, Mr. Steve Corcoran and Mr. Dale Helms. So with this in mind, at least we have this group of people that are really very knowledgeable with the reality of the corridor, and for sure will help the consultant and the MPO to conduct this particular study. Our first meeting for the steering committee will be this Thursday on the 15th at 4:30 p.m. right here. So in case of any of you wants to attend. So this is the brief presentation for you, and thank you for the opportunity. If you have any questions, please advise. Yes, sir.
Dale Helms will be also taking Mike's spot on council, so we will have a representative from the council on there.
So what would you like me to do? Take him as a representative now, or as a community member?
He'll serve both roles, I think.
Well, he's got a business.
He's got a business
on
on there,
22, so I'm sure that's why he's interested. But I would like to see at least one more council member. I would think someone that serves on the MPO would probably be the best person to, whoever that's going to be.
Whoever that's going to be, we don't know yet.
That's going to shake out after the first of the year. So
basically, after January, we will have 2 new members? or just one?
Possibly.
Possibly. We'll
Yeah.
recommend it, that's all we can do.
With Henry and me leaving the council, there's going to be a vacancy on this committee, there's going to be a vacancy at Water and Light, and so
Things are gonna be changed
they'll
around.
be changing a little bit.
Yeah, that's very important for us to.
I've got 2 new
count your
faces up
support.
there.
What about, did anybody think about this, the high school, ISD 595? Because even though it's not right on 220, it's probably one of the biggest contributors to any congestion
Yep.
by school buses going to and from, and you may consider,
Hugo's would also be another one that might be, because there's a lot of traffic that flows that direction too.
I believe the school district was invited to attend, but
I
maybe you
don't
could
know.
call,
I'm
maybe
just-
you could call them and
They
actually
register
jumpstart them a little bit. But I know you did send to them also, I saw it
Yes.
on the email, so.
okay.
You want me
But
to-
maybe you would, you could check with the superintendent to see if their person in charge of busing and stuff would be interested instead of himself. You know, call him and ask him if he has somebody he could send in his place.
And do you happen to have any contact name for Hugo's?
Contact there.
Well, you probably.
I think Jeff Westrom would know.
probably.
You
Well,
just
Jeff
get
Westrom would be-
Yeah.
And he would,
He'd
Be
tell
able
you who.
yeah, I don't know like Margot's last name, isn't she, at the East Side store? But
Yeah, thank you for this. And certainly, it's very important for you guys to be at the steering wheel of this particular study. That way, the recommendations and the emphasis will be for the benefits of the community, rather than just having an engineering kind of a report.
Well, these studies are important in order to get future funding for improvements and upgrades. My comment on this whole area, the biggest priority and the biggest problem that this intersection, or this highway, this corridor has, is the safety of 220 and Highway 2. There's a lot of crashes there, and they're oftentimes, people are injured. And I have a family member that was severely injured there and ultimately died. The problem with that intersection is it doesn't line up at a right angle. It comes in at an angle, so you're looking over your shoulder when you're going south or you're going north. So I don't know how you fix that, but if there are ways that the engineering geniuses down at MnDOT have to make that intersection safer, I would encourage them to do so.
That's exactly because these are major improvements. That's how important is your participation as a city councilors.
Yeah, and we looked at that intersection quite a few years ago, when there was talk of maybe opening up Fifth Avenue and putting some streetlights there to take some of the congestion off of that intersection, but it never went through. We just couldn't find the votes to justify it, and it was a lot of money for not enough benefit, but it doesn't eliminate the problem that we have as traffic grows in that intersection. It's only going to get worse.
Okay. 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
First, how is this study being funded?
Yes.
Who's paying for the study?
Of course, Rich, Minnesota.
But it's not city dollars.
No,
It's state dollars being done.
The
Okay.
state is going through a very positive financial situation, and they that's my understanding, came to the MPO. And then, because it's also for their interest for the state to study the corridor, they offered to fund the study. The state has always been interested in the safety issue of the corridor, because across the state, this is one of the corridors that happens to be one of the areas with the highest number of crashes. So safety is a priority. So then they came and asked, we have the money, the study has been under consideration, let's do it.
And the second question is?
Yes, sir.
What comes out of the study will be recommendations for further review by the funding agencies and by the city to determine what's going to actually get implemented. Okay, but this is just merely to make recommendations. It's not something that's set in stone. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say set on stone, because that's the reason we are asking for the public participation, and particularly people that are really somehow impacted by the operation of the corridor. Businesses, at the schools, even city councilors to be there and minding the direction of the study. It's very important to do that.
So public participation is really, really important for this.
Crucial.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And later I will provide you with, I will keep you, as a matter of information, abreast of what is happening, because we have a series of meetings that are meant just for the public. So it will be very important for you to know the dates and the locations. And we are striving to have those meetings on the location, to go to the corridor, to the schools and places like that.
To get a hold of Jeff Westrom, you can just call the 32nd Avenue Hugos
Yes, sir.
and ask for Jeff, and you can contact him there.
I will certainly. And thank you for the leads. Thank you. So may I dismiss myself?
Sorry? Yep. So you said there's a meeting on Thursday. What time is that meeting for anyone who wants to attend?
4:30 here. You are invited to attend.
4:30 until midnight?
No, sir. 4:30 to 6. That's the expected time.
Okay.
It could be shorter though. So
At Riopelle meeting, it'll be really short.
yes. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
That's the end of the.
Nancy answered me in a text. She said she'd need a check, but it was a violation from DOL, and it needed to be fixed in order to keep in operation. It had something to do with the timing.
With the what?
Timing. And it was not part of the regular maintenance because of what was going on, so. But it probably has never been done, so, it lasts for another 20 years, right?
Well, the only reason that's kind of questionable is, didn't Otis install that new elevator?
Correct.
They installed that new elevator about 2 years or so ago when we were having all those problems with weight issues. So
She can check, we can have her check, and she can let Paul know, and he can send you an email. How's that okay?
Motion to adjourn?
Are we gonna,
You were going to bring something up.
yes. Up on the north end, or wait, south end, I'm on the other end of town again.
Down by where you live.
Yeah, down there.
Just point. That would help.
That way.
There we go.
No, Rob Point.
By her.
Josh asked me the other day whether the $100,000 program extends to the Cooley View, and I said no. And he says, well, have you ever thought about it? I said, we've never been asked. I thought about it, we've never been asked, and I thought we'd wait till it had been asked. So you have someone who might be interested in building a spec home down in that area?
With them two lots that are,
The larger
because there's a
lot?
lot of bad press going around about that, saying that nothing will fit there, which all of us sitting here know, flip the freaking house, right?
Whoa, now, don't think outside the box here, okay?
Well, I hate to be optimistic, but, because I know, because I got inquired about the two that were a lot and a half, and that's what made me call Paul.
And we have
Are
one
they
that's
still a lot and a half?
reserved right now.
And one reserved. So I was thinking, okay, let's,
did they, I know the one was sold, that was split, that was sold, or?
two of them.
Both of them were sold, both of the people decided not to do it. You refunded the money on one, the money was not refunded on the other.
But my question is did we go back and
No.
No.
That was my question too.
I asked the
'Cause I
question
couldn't
here,
remember.
and the answer was, we will not do it. We will, if somebody wants to buy one of those, wants to have them back into 3 lots instead of 2, that person will be responsible for those costs, the same as the people were responsible for the cost to originally make 2 lots out of 3. So they are still 2 lots as opposed to 3 lots.
Correct.
Yes.
And Josh, I think the reasoning why we didn't do it there is because the lots up north have specials on it. The Cooley View does not have any specials on them.
Well, I understand that.
Right.
I guess to me, if we can get them going and moving,
What would be the downside of offering this to out there? Is there a
It's a
downside?
loan, it's the amount of money that we have available, so it's a case of the 280 account has to absorb it over a temporary time, knowing that it'll be in the negative for that period of time as an account, but it'll be an asset to that account also because it's the money to be received back.
Right, so it would be no
So-
different than a lot on the north end, essentially, is
It'd be
what it comes
correct-
down to.
It'd be the same as the lots on the north end. We've just never taken the program to the south end.
I wouldn't have an issue taking it to the south end then either, because the more lots we get off and we get sold,
the better
in the
off.
long run, we're better
Well,
off we're going to be, especially if somebody's interested in this one, because it is a larger lot and it has some restrictions on how that house can be built. I don't have a problem with
And
that.
like you said, outside the box.
Yep.
Certainly. Just
Because the builder that asked me about it, I flat out said, just for in here, I said, I'll fund the electrical inside when you pay me when you're done, when it's sold.
Camera's still on, so everybody else knows too, just so we're.
I don't care.
I just asked Ron, he said, if someone wants to make the motion and the second, it's voted on,
I'll make the motion on that. I'll make the motion to extend that to the south end as well.
I mean, the council has said 3 homes. We have 1 under the program right now. And Carl
I
has
guess
something to say.
my question is where that account is about 20 grand now. However, we have to pay the tax abatements out of that account, which were about 51, was it, this year?
Yeah, I don't.
So that will be
exactly.
in the hole. So
Yeah.
depends on how far you want that account in the hole.
Well, we either
the-
have that program or we don't.
Well, the
Correct.
council
I just
said
wanna
we
make
could
you
do up
aware
to
of that.
3, and that provides the presumption that the council is going to authorize us to go enough into the red on that account to have 3 homes that we are lending money to the builders that we get paid back. What we have had so far is 4 homes have been built under that program that we've been paid back for already. We have 1 under construction. They believe that they are going to have that sold in short order. So this would be 1 more home. What it has done is it has caused homes to be built as speculative homes that have been sold, and the money has come back into the city coffers, but it has helped us to sell lots.
Well, and it's also reduced our cost of holding lots and the maintenance that comes with that as well. Because we all saw how much that cost for mowing and everything else that comes with it.
And if I'm not mistaken, that one on the south end, I thought I was told that that one gets closed by the end of the month,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
And timing may be they can't start it now. It's too late
And,
to
yeah,
start
this one
anyway,
wouldn't
so
start
there'd be
till
money.
spring.
Yeah, so there would probably be, there'd be money in the account or whatever, so. It wouldn't be in the hole at least at the end of the year,
Right.
or as much.
Okay, but it's recognizing that council has this program that it will cause difficulties in this particular account where money has to be lent to the account, to be lent out of the account. So it acts as an asset and a debit at the same time.
Borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and then pay Peter back.
Literally, yes.
Government at its
The
finest.
accounts aren't named Peter and Paul, but that's the effective. So,
We do got
Him and I named
We
it.
got a motion though on the table,
but
right?
there's a
got a
motion.
Motion.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Since you're
Because
talking
that'd
to him,
be-
do you want to let him know?
What's that?
Do you want to let him know?
Yes, I will.
Well, as long as you're on that subject, maybe this group should take a look at and reconsider the lots that are on the north end of Cooley View and see what you can do there, because none of those have ever moved.
Well, we have 1 lot of those, the ones that were split, created into 2 out
I'm
of 3.
talking about the north, across 30.
These are on the north. These are north
No.
across the street from where,
Oh, north of
Gotcha,
me,
yeah.
yeah. You're talking
I'm
north
talking
end.
about north of 13th. You've got Cooley View Edition, you've got the,
Oh, yeah, he's talking, that's the
that's what
same
I'm
one.
talking about.
Those two, that one, that McMahon and
Yeah, and Staus.
Those are on the north side of?
north side of me.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the ones we're
Those are
talking
the ones we're
about.
talking about, Ron.
Yep.
Okay, never mind.
And then you said that you had someone that put money down on another one, or?
One in Water's Edge, they've decided not to.
No, on the
move forward.
on-
But yes, I have one down in Cooley View. Right now, that's one of those two wider lots that they have to close within the next few weeks.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date. And this would be the second one like that. Ron is also doing the quiet title action to take care of that lot discrepancy that's south of you. And that means
Next
they will
to
be able to
Dean.
close on that lot. And they've told me they're interested in doing that. So that lot will be built on finally.
So then we'd be just down to those two corner lots.
We'd have 3 lots left north, and we'd have 1 lot left south.
Yes.
Cooley View, okay?
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Will we adjourn?
Second.
Second,
Aye.
all in favor?
Don't we want a motion to have the clock set right?
Yeah.
All right, so I know we're government, but if we need a motion to set the clock correctly, we got a problem.
I know.
I really got you.
How many people does it take to change a light bulb?